Hey everyone! Tonight we're diving into a question that'll make you sit up in bed. Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt, the woman who brought the world to its knees. Where's her tomb? Have you ever wondered how someone so powerful, a symbol of opulence, could vanish without a trace? Let's unravel this dramatic, twist-filled story right now. Before you snuggle into your blanket, hit that like button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and what time it is there. It's so cool to know who's joining us from all over the world. Picture this. You wake up one morning in Alexandria, 30 BCE. No Bluetooth speaker blaring your favorite song. No steaming coffee to kickstart your day. Instead, the scorching sun stabs your eyes through a stone window. The air is thick with a briny scent of the sea, mixed with dried fish and the sweat of the crowd outside. You hear shouts from the marketplace, the clatter of horse hooves, and somewhere, the hiss of a snake. Or is that just your imagination? Your body aches from sleeping on a bed hard as rock, and you're already exhausted even though the day's just begun. Welcome to ancient Egypt, where everything's glamorous until it's not. You're in Alexandria, the most dazzling city in the world at the time, the hub of civilization, where Cleopatra rules like a living goddess. But today, something's off. The air feels heavy, and it's not just the heat. Rumors spread like wildfire. Cleopatra, your queen, the woman who turned Rome and Egypt upside down, is holed up in her palace, and people are whispering that she's about to lose. Lose to whom? To Octavian, the cold-blooded Roman marching toward the city gates. You can feel the tension in every breath. The crowd outside isn't laughing anymore. They're murmuring, anxious, and you catch someone mentioning a tomb. Cleopatra's tomb. But where is it? And why, thousands of years later, can't we find it? Let's back up a bit. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen. She was a political genius, a master diplomat, and let's be real, someone who played the power game better than anyone. She charmed Julius Caesar, made Mark Antony beg to marry her, and turned Egypt into an economic superpower. But you know how it goes. The higher you climb, the harder you fall. In 31 BCE, at the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra and Antony's forces were crushed by Octavian. Can you imagine that scene? Ships burning on the sea, sailors screaming, the stench of smoke and blood mingling in the air. Cleopatra, standing on her ship's deck, probably knew everything was about to collapse. She didn't just lose a battle, she lost her world. Now you're walking the stone-paved streets of Alexandria, barefoot because your cheap sandals tore apart. The scent of the palace wafts toward you, frankincense, rose oil, and something sharp like metal. You hear whispers that Cleopatra is preparing for the end. Not the kind of end where you miss a deadline and your boss yells at you, but the permanent kind. Later historians, like Plutarch, say Cleopatra built a tomb for herself, a lavish monument to etch her name into eternity. Here's the kicker. No one knows where it is. No map, no clue, not even a scribbled note saying, Cleo's tomb, third palm tree, turn left. Nada. Zilch. You pause at a market corner, where an old potter is spinning tales. He says Cleopatra refused to let Octavian parade her through Rome's streets like a trophy. Instead, she chose death, and not just any death. They say she let a venomous snake bite her, maybe an Egyptian asp, the kind that sends you to meet your ancestors in one quick snap. You shiver, not just from the story, but from a sudden cold breeze carrying the scent of sand and dust. The question lingers in your mind. If Cleopatra died in her tomb, why hasn't anyone found it? And if she didn't die there, what happened? Think about this. Alexandria back then was a labyrinth. Grand palaces, ornate temples, and the Library of Alexandria, home to all human knowledge, crammed together by the coast. But nature doesn't care for beauty. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and time swallowed most of the city. Ever been to the beach and watched waves wash everything away? Now imagine an entire city drowned like that. Modern archaeologists, like Kathleen Martinez, have dug everywhere from Taposiris Magna to the waters off Alexandria. But Cleopatra's tomb remains a mystery. Feel that frustration? It's like searching for your car keys and they're just gone. Back to the scene. You're standing outside the palace, where Cleopatra might be in her final hours. The sound of Roman guards echoes from a distance, armor clanking, shouts in Latin you don't understand. Your heart pounds. You hear Cleopatra send her son, Caesar Ion, into hiding. But what about her? She's not the type to give up. Some say she hid her tomb, not just to protect her body, but to safeguard her treasure, gold, pearls, and secrets that could topple Rome itself. Sweat drips down your back, not just from the heat, but from the tension. If Cleopatra really died in her tomb, why isn't there a clear record? Roman historians, who love to gossip, are vague about this. Plutarch says she died in a room. Cassius Dio mentions a tomb. But no one says exactly where. Ever feel like you're solving a puzzle with a missing piece? That's what archaeologists deal with today. As the sun sets, you sit on a rock, gazing at the sea. Alexandria glows in the twilight, but you know it won't last. Cleopatra, your queen, is somewhere in the palace, facing her fate. Her tomb, if it exists, might be right beneath your feet, or lost to the waves. You close your eyes, picturing her, a woman with sharp eyes, hands dripping with gold, and a smile like she knows something the world doesn't. But then, a question slices through, cold as a blade. If Cleopatra planned her death so perfectly, did she make sure we'd never find her? And if so, do you dare dig deeper for the truth, or will that truth make you wish you'd never asked? The sunset in Alexandria casts a golden glow over everything, but that beauty only makes you feel heavier. You're perched on a rock, staring at the shimmering sea, waves lapping like they're whispering secrets you'll never decode. The salty, wet scent of sand clings to your skin, making you itch, but you don't bother scratching. The marketplace shouts have faded, replaced by anxious murmurs from the crowd near the palace. Someone just yelled that the Romans have breached the city. Your heart thumps like it's trying to escape your chest. Cleopatra, your queen, is somewhere in that palace, and you can't stop thinking about her tomb, the place that thousands of years later people still dig for, still argue over, but never find. You stand, barefoot on the hot stone, pushing through the crowd to get closer to the palace. The air is thick with a smell of burning olive oil from torches, laced with a faint whiff of frankincense. You hear crying, not loud, but stifled, like someone's hiding their fear. A woman nearby, clutching her child, whispers that Cleopatra has locked herself in a secret room, a place no one can find. She won't let the Romans touch her, she says, voice trembling. You look at her, wanting to ask more, but her eyes drift, like she's seeing something you don't want to know. Imagine this feeling, like when you know a massive drama's about to explode in your friend group, but no one will spill the details, and you're just standing there guessing. Except this drama isn't about who unfollowed who online. It's the fate of an entire kingdom. Cleopatra, the woman who made the world beg, is now facing Octavian, the ice-cold Roman who doesn't just want to win, but wants to erase her from history. Your skin burns from the heat, sweat trickles down your back, but your heart feels frozen. If Cleopatra really prepared a tomb for herself, it must be a place no one could touch. But why? And more importantly, where? You keep moving, squeezing past Egyptian guards with tense eyes and spears gripped tight. The palace looms ahead, massive and magnificent, its white marble columns gleaming under the rising moon. But something's wrong. Normally, the palace hums with lyre music, the laughter of officials, and the rich scent of wine. Today, it's eerily silent, save for the distant clank of Roman soldiers' footsteps, like a drumbeat of doom. You pause, leaning against a stone wall, feeling its roughness under your palms. Your mind races. Is Cleopatra really in her tomb? Or is that just a rumor to throw Octavian off? Let's zoom out to understand why this tomb matters so much. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen. She was the symbol of Egypt, a nation that thrived for thousands of years before Rome was even a speck. She knew the power of image. Ever thought about building your personal brand? Cleopatra did it before the term existed. She crafted herself as a living Isis, and her tomb, if it exists, must be a final statement, a place not just to bury her, but to protect her legacy. Historians like Strabo and Suetonius mention a tomb Cleopatra built, but they're vague about its location. Some say it's in the palace, near the sea. Others point to Taposiris Magna, a temple miles away. Feel that annoyance when you read an article with a clickbait headline but no substance? That's what studying this tomb feels like. Now you're at a side gate of the palace, where a maid stumbles out, pale as death. She mutters something about a snake and death. You grab her arm, asking, "Where's the queen?" She stares at you, eyes wide with fear, and whispers, "She's in the tomb, but no one knows where." Before you can press her, she bolts, leaving you with a chill down your spine. A snake? Did Cleopatra really choose death by venom, as Plutarch claims? Or is that just a story spun to make her more mythic? You don't know, but the air feels dangerous, like when you're lost in a dark alley and hear footsteps behind you. Consider the bigger picture. Alexandria in 30 BCE wasn't just a city. It was a maze of power, intrigue, and secrets. Cleopatra spent her life keeping Egypt independent, but Rome was too strong. Octavian didn't just want to kill her. He wanted to erase her legacy. If her tomb held treasure, gold, pearls, maybe even documents exposing Rome's secrets, Octavian wouldn't let it survive. Ever wonder why some historical secrets stay buried? Maybe someone, somewhere, made sure they did. You keep going, slipping through the dark corridors outside the palace, where torchlight dances on the walls, casting eerie shadows. The frankincense smell is stronger now, but there's a metallic tang, like blood. You hear whispers from a nearby room, not in Egyptian, but in Latin. The Romans are here, and they're hunting Cleopatra. You press against the wall, heart pounding, trying not to breathe too loud. If Cleopatra's really in her tomb, she must have a secret escape, right? A queen like her wouldn't let herself be caught so easily. Imagine you're one of Cleopatra's servants, tasked with bringing a basket of fruit to her tomb. You step into a dark room, lit only by a few candles. Cleopatra sits there, calm to the point of terrifying, dressed in white silk, her black hair intricately braided. She looks at you, and her smile makes you shiver, not from fear, but because you know she's holding a secret bigger than death. In the basket, you see a snake coiled, its eyes glinting like jewels. You want to scream, but Cleopatra's gaze keeps you silent. "Don't be afraid," she says, her voice low and smooth as velvet. "This is the only way." But then you snap out of it. You're still outside the palace, hands shaking, sweat sticking to your clothes. The snake story might be true, or it might be a Roman myth to turn Cleopatra into a legend instead of a flesh and blood queen. Modern archaeologists like Kathleen Martinez have searched Taposiris Magna, finding secret tunnels and traces of an ancient temple. But even they admit, no clear evidence. Alexandria has been ravaged by nature and man. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and centuries of destruction have turned the city into ruins beneath the sea. You look out at the water, where moonlight glints like a shattered mirror. Maybe Cleopatra's tomb is down there, buried in sand and mud, with the secrets she took to her grave. Or maybe it never existed. Maybe Cleopatra fooled everyone, even death. a cold breeze sweeps through, carrying the scent of salt and something deadly. A question lingers, sharp as a blade. If Cleopatra hid her tomb so well, did she want us to keep searching, like an eternal game? And if you find it, are you ready to face what's inside? Or will you wish you'd never set foot in Alexandria? You're still here with me, right? If you're vibing with this so far, drop a question in the comments. I'm dying to know what's going through your head right now. And now, let's keep this journey rolling together. The moonlight over Alexandria is cold, casting long shadows that twist like fingers reaching for you. You're pressed against the palace wall, the stone rough and cool against your sweat-soaked back. The air smells of salt, smoke, and that sharp metallic tang that makes your stomach churn, like something final is about to happen. The distant clank of Roman armor grows louder, each step a reminder that Octavian's men are closing in. Your breath catches, shallow and quick, as you strain to hear anything from inside the palace. Is Cleopatra still there, plotting her final move? Or is she already gone, hidden in that tomb no one can find? The thought makes your skin prickle, not just from the night chill, but from the weight of a question you can't shake. What if the tomb isn't just a place, but a trap she set for anyone daring to chase her legacy? You inch along the wall, your bare feet silent on the stone, though every pebble feels like a knife. The palace looms above, its grandeur mocking the chaos unfolding. Torches flicker in the distance, their light barely reaching the corridor where you're hiding. You hear a scream, sharp, cut off quickly, and your heart leaps. Was that a servant? A soldier? Or something worse? The smell of frankincense is overpowering now, mingling with the sour stench of fear. You're not supposed to be here, sneaking around like some thief, but curiosity burns hotter than fear. You need to know, where is Cleopatra, and what's this tomb everyone's whispering about? Imagine the stakes for a second. You're not just some bystander in ancient Alexandria. You're caught in the collapse of an empire. Cleopatra, the woman who outsmarted kings and emperors, is cornered. Octavian doesn't just want her dead. He wants her erased. Her name, her power, her story. You've seen petty drama in your own life, right? Like when someone spreads rumors to ruin a friend's rep. Now multiply that by 1,000 and add swords, snakes, and a whole lot of gold. If Cleopatra's tomb is real, it's not just a grave. It's her last stand, a middle finger to Rome, packed with treasures and maybe secrets that could rewrite history. No wonder no one's found it. Someone or something made sure of that. You creep closer to a side entrance, where a heavy wooden door hangs slightly ajar. The hinges creak as you push it, and the sound feels like a betrayal in the silence. Inside, the air is cooler, but no less heavy, thick with the scent of wax and myrrh. Your eyes adjust to the dimness, catching glints of gold on the walls, hieroglyphs, and carvings of gods and queens. You're in a hallway, one of those endless palace corridors that twist like a maze. Every step echoes, and you wince, half expecting a Roman to jump out. You hear voices now, low and urgent, speaking in Greek. Cleopatra's court used Greek, not Egyptian, a reminder that she was as much a product of the Hellenistic world as she was of the Nile. You don't catch the words, but the tone is desperate, like people planning a heist that's already gone wrong. You pause, crouching behind a statue of Anubis, its jackal head glaring down like it knows you're out of your depth. The voices fade, replaced by the faint clink of metal. Coins? Jewelry? Or something more sinister, like chains? You peek around the statue and see a figure slip through a doorway, cloaked in dark fabric. A servant? A spy? Your pulse races. Whoever it was, they're heading deeper into the palace, toward where the rumors say Cleopatra's hiding. You want to follow, but your legs feel like they're made of sand. Ever get that feeling when you're about to do something stupid, like texting an ex at 2 a.m., but you can't stop yourself? That's you right now, torn between running and chasing the truth. Let's zoom out for a moment. Cleopatra's final days weren't just about her. Alexandria was a powder keg, Greeks, Egyptians, Romans, all thrown together in a city that was half cosmopolitan dream, half ticking time bomb. The people loved Cleopatra, or at least they feared her enough to obey. But with Octavian's army at the gates, loyalty was crumbling. Some of her advisors, like the treasurer Seleucus, were already cutting deals with the Romans. You can almost hear the whispers in the palace. Save yourself, she's done for. Betrayal was in the air, as thick as the dust you're breathing. If Cleopatra built a tomb, she didn't just hide it from Octavian. She hid it from her own people, the ones who might sell her out for a sack of silver. You take a deep breath and move, staying low, following the cloaked figure. The hallway narrows, the walls closing in until you can touch both sides. The air grows damp, carrying a faint smell of earth, like a freshly dug grave. You're underground now, or close to it, and the thought sends a shiver through you. What if the tomb is down here, beneath the palace? Historians like Plutarch hint that Cleopatra's monument was close to her quarters, maybe even connected by secret tunnels. Modern archaeologists have found underground chambers in Alexandria, but the city's been so battered by earthquakes and floods that most of it's either collapsed or underwater. You feel that frustration, don't you? Like when your phone dies right when you need GPS, and you're stuck wandering blind. The cloaked figure stops ahead, and you freeze, pressing yourself into a shadowy alcove. Your heart's pounding, so loud you're sure they can hear it. They're at a stone wall, running their hands over it like they're looking for something. A hidden door, maybe? You squint, trying to see, but the torchlight is too weak. Then, a grinding sound, low and heavy, like stone scraping stone. The wall moves, just enough for the figure to slip through, and then it seals shut. You're alone again, but your mind's racing. Was that the entrance to the tomb? Or just some secret stash for Cleopatra's gold? You want to run up and pound on the wall. But what if someone's watching? What if something's watching? Picture yourself in Cleopatra's shoes for a second. You're not just a queen. You're a mother, a strategist, a survivor. You've spent years balancing Rome's egos, keeping Egypt afloat, while men like Octavian plot your downfall. Now your city's surrounded, your lover Antony's dead, and your kids are in danger. You've got one last card to play, your death on your terms. The story of the snake, the ASP hidden in a basket of figs, feels too perfect, doesn't it? Like something you'd see in a blockbuster movie, not real life. Some scholars think Cleopatra used poison, not a snake, easier, cleaner, and less Hollywood. But whether it was venom or a vial, she chose a way out that would cement her legend. And that tomb? It was her final act of control, a place to hide her body, her wealth, and maybe the truth about her deals with Rome. You step toward the wall, your fingers brushing the stone. It's cold, slick with moisture, and you feel a faint vibration, like the earth itself is breathing. You press harder, hoping for a click or a creak, but nothing happens. Your chest tightens with disappointment, but also relief. You're not sure you're ready for what's behind that wall. The air down here is suffocating, the smell of earth and decay pressing into your lungs. You hear a noise behind you, a footstep. You spin around, but it's just a rat scurrying across the floor. Still, your nerves are shot, and you're starting to wonder if you're chasing a ghost. Let's talk about why this tomb is so hard to find. Alexandria's not the city it was. The seas claimed half of it, swallowing palaces and temples like a hungry god. Archaeologists like Kathleen Martinez have spent years digging at Taposiris Magna, a site tied to Cleopatra's worship of Isis. But the evidence is thin, some coins, a busted statue, nothing screaming tomb. Other teams have explored the waters off Alexandria, where sonar picks up ruins, but no clear answers. The city's been looted, rebuilt, and wrecked so many times that finding Cleopatra's tomb is like looking for a specific grain of sand on a beach. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Cleopatra, with her knack for outsmarting everyone, made sure her resting place would stay hidden. A final laugh at the world that tried to cage her. You back away from a wall, your hands trembling. The corridor feels smaller now, the shadows deeper. You hear another sound, voices, closer this time, and the unmistakable clank of Roman armor. They're coming. Your mouth goes dry, and you realize you've got two choices. Keep searching for the tomb and risk getting caught, or get out while you still can. But as you turn to leave, a thought hits you, cold and sharp as a dagger. What if Cleopatra's not hiding from the Romans? What if she's hiding from you? From anyone who thinks they can uncover her secrets? And if she's still out there, in some way, watching, are you brave enough to keep looking? Or will you wish you'd stayed safe in the dark? The darkness of the corridor wraps around you like a damp cloak. The air's so thick with the smell of earth and decay that every breath feels like swallowing mud. Your heart still hammering from the sound of Roman boots echoing somewhere behind you, their metallic clank growing closer, sharper, like a blade being whetted. You're crouched in the shadows of the palace's underbelly, your fingers still tingling from where they brushed that stone wall, the one that moved, then sealed shut, hiding whatever secrets the cloaked figure slipped into. Your bare feet ache, bruised from the cold, uneven stone, and sweat stings your eyes. You want to run, to get out of this suffocating maze, but the pull of Cleopatra's tomb is stronger. It's not just curiosity now, it's like she's daring you. Her ghost whispering from the dark, "Find me if you can." You force yourself to move, inching along the wall, your hands grazing the slick stone for balance. The corridor twists downward, the air growing colder, heavier, like you're descending into the underworld itself. The faint scent of myrrh lingers, but it's overpowered by something sour, like spilled wine gone bad. Your ears strain for any sound, footsteps, voices, anything. But there's only the drip of water somewhere deep in the dark, each drop hitting the floor like a countdown. You're not supposed to be here, sneaking through the palace's hidden veins. But the thought of turning back feels worse than facing whatever's ahead. Ever get that itch to check one more notification, even when you know it's a bad idea? That's you right now, chasing a truth that might burn you. The corridor opens into a wider chamber, and you freeze. The air shifts, carrying a faint warmth, like the ghost of a fire. Your eyes adjust to the dim glow of a single torch mounted on the wall, its flames sputtering as if it's as tired as you are. The chamber is small, its walls carved with scenes of gods, Osiris, Isis, Horus, their eyes seeming to follow you. In the center, there's a low stone table, and on it, a scattering of objects, a gold bracelet shaped like a snake, a clay vial stoppered with wax, and a scrap of papyrus, its edges curling like it's been touched too many times. Your breath catches. Is this a clue to the tomb? Or just a forgotten stash from some panicked servant? You step closer, the stone floor icy under your feet, and your shadow dances across the wall, making you jump like a kid scared of their own reflection. You reach for the papyrus, your fingers trembling. The writing is in Greek, hurried and smudged, but you make out a few words: monument, sea, eternity. Your heart skips. Could this be about Cleopatra's tomb? Historians like Plutarch and Cassius Dio mentioned a monument she built, a place to house her body and her legacy. Some say it was near the palace. Others argue it was hidden in a temple like Taposiris Magna. You're no scholar, but holding this fragile scrap feels like touching history itself. You imagine Cleopatra writing it, her hands steady even as her world crumbled, her dark eyes calculating every move. But then you hear it, a low scrape, like stone on stone, from the corridor you just left. Someone's coming. You shove the papyrus into your tunic, your hands clumsy with panic. The torchlight flickers, casting wild shadows that make the gods on the walls seem alive, judging you. You dart to the far side of the chamber, squeezing behind a cracked statue of Isis, its serene face a cruel contrast to your pounding heart. The air smells sharper now, like sweat and iron, and you realize it's not just your fear. You're not alone. Footsteps echo, slow and deliberate, and a voice cuts through the silence, speaking Latin. You don't understand the words, but the tone is cold, commanding, like someone used to being obeyed. Romans. Your stomach twists. If they catch you here, with that papyrus, you're done for. Ever feel like you're one wrong move from total disaster? Like when you accidentally hit reply all on a spicy email. That's you. Except the consequences here involve swords. You hold your breath, your back pressed against the damp wall, the statue's stone edge digging into your shoulder. The footsteps stop, and you hear the clink of armor, the rustle of fabric. There are at least two of them, maybe more. One says something sharp, and another laughs, a low, ugly sound that makes your skin crawl. You catch a glimpse of movement through a crack in the statue, a Roman soldier, his helmet glinting in the torchlight, his hand resting on a sword. He's close, too close, and you can smell the leather of his armor, the sour tang of his breath. He's looking at the table, at the bracelet and vial you left behind. You curse yourself for not grabbing them. If they find the papyrus on you, it's over. Let's pause to think about what's at stake. Cleopatra's tomb isn't just a pile of stones and gold. It's a symbol of defiance. She wasn't just hiding her body. She was hiding her power, her story, from men like Octavian who wanted to rewrite her as a villain. You know how people twist narratives today, spinning stories on social media to make someone look bad? Octavian was the ultimate spin doctor. He couldn't let Cleopatra's tomb become a shrine for her followers, a place where Egypt's spirit could live on. So maybe he didn't just fail to find it. Maybe he buried it, erased it, like deleting a file you don't want anyone to recover. The papyrus in your tunic feels heavier now, like it's burning through the fabric. What if it holds the key to finding her? Or worse, what if it's a trap, meant to lead fools like you to their doom? The soldier picks up the bracelet, turning it in his hands, and you see his face, hard, scarred, with eyes that look through everything. He mutters something to his companion, who's out of sight, and then tosses the bracelet back on the table. Your lungs burn from holding your breath, but you don't dare exhale. The second soldier steps into view, younger, his movements nervous, like he doesn't want to be here. He says something about the queen and orders, and the older one snaps back, his voice like a whip. They're searching for Cleopatra, but they don't know where to look. You realize they're as lost as you are, stumbling through this maze of stone and secrets. It's almost funny, except you're one wrong move from joining the ghost down here. They move toward the corridor, their voices fading, but you don't relax. You wait, counting your heartbeats, until the silence returns. Your legs are shaking as you step out from behind the statue, the papyrus crinkling against your chest. You grab the vial and bracelet, stuffing them into your tunic, because leaving them feels like tempting fate. The chamber feels smaller now, the air thicker, like the walls are closing in. You need to get out, but the thought of that hidden door, the one the cloaked figure slipped through, pulls at you. What if it leads to the tomb? What if Cleopatra's there, waiting, her final act still unfolding? You head back to the corridor, moving faster now, the torchlight barely keeping up with you. The drip of water is louder, the smell of earth stronger, and you realize you're deeper underground than you thought. The walls are rougher here, less polished, like this part of the palace was carved in haste. You wonder if Cleopatra planned this, if she built these tunnels as a last resort, a way to outwit death itself. Modern archaeologists have found similar passages in Alexandria, collapsed and flooded, but none lead to her tomb. The sea's taken so much, palaces, temples, entire streets. You feel a pang of frustration, like when you're stuck in traffic with no way out, except this traffic jam's been going on for 2,000 years. You reach the stone wall again, the one that moved. Your hands fumble over it, searching for a seam, a lever, anything. The stone is cold, unyielding, and your nails scrape uselessly against it. You press your ear to the wall, hoping for a sound, a voice, a clue. But there's nothing, just the faint hum of the earth, like a heartbeat. You're about to give up when you feel it. A slight give, a section of stone that shifts under your weight. You push hard, and the wall groans, sliding just enough to reveal a narrow gap. Darkness pours out, colder than the air around you, carrying a smell like old bones and salt. Your heart leaps, but fear claws at it. This is it, isn't it? The path to the tomb, or to something you're not ready to face. You squeeze through the gap, the stone scraping your arms, and step into a new chamber. It's pitch black, the torchlight from the corridor too weak to reach. You fumble for the vial in your tunic, hoping it's oil or something useful. But it's sealed tight, and you're too scared to break it. Your other hand grips the papyrus, the bracelet jangling softly against your chest. You take a step, then another, your feet splashing in shallow water. The smell of salt is overwhelming now, like you're standing at the edge of the sea. You realize you're close to the coast, maybe even under it. Is this where Cleopatra hid her tomb, beneath the waves, where no one could find it? Or is this just another dead end? Another trick? A sound stops you cold, a low, rhythmic thump, like something heavy being dragged. It's coming from the darkness ahead, and it's not human. Your blood freezes, and you clutch the papyrus tighter, as if it could protect you. You want to call out to see if it's the cloaked figure, but your voice sticks in your throat. The thumping stops, and the silence is worse, heavy with the weight of something watching. You take a step back, your foot slipping in the water, and you realize you're not just chasing Cleopatra's tomb. You're caught in her game, and the rules are hers alone. What if she didn't just hide her tomb to protect it? What if she hid it to punish anyone who dared to look? And as the darkness presses in, do you keep going or do you run, knowing you might never escape what's waiting? The darkness in this underground chamber is so thick it feels like it's pressing against your skin, a cold, wet weight that makes every breath a struggle. The shallow water at your feet sloshes with each hesitant step, its icy grip numbing your toes. The smell of salt and ancient decay fills your lungs, sharp and bitter, like the sea itself has been trapped down here for centuries. Your hand clutches the papyrus, its edges digging into your palm, while the gold bracelet and sealed vial in your tunic clink softly, a reminder of the risks you've already taken. That thumping sound, low, rhythmic, not human, has stopped, but the silence is worse, like the calm before a storm you can't see. Your heart pounds, each beat screaming at you to turn back, but the thought of Cleopatra's tomb, so close now, pulls you forward. It's not just a place anymore. It's a challenge, a dare from a queen who never lost at anything. You take another step, the water deepening to your ankles, and your foot brushes something smooth and solid beneath the surface. You freeze, your breath hitching. A stone? A bone? You don't dare reach down to find out. The air is colder here, carrying a faint metallic tang, like blood or rust, and you can't shake the feeling that you're being watched. Not by Romans, not by servants, but by something older, something that belongs to this place. You try to laugh it off. Come on, you're not some kid scared of the dark. But the sound sticks in your throat, weak and unconvincing. Ever have that moment when you're alone at night, and every creak in the house feels like a threat? That's you now, except the house is a labyrinth under Alexandria, and the stakes are higher than a sleepless night. You force yourself to move, one hand trailing along the wall for balance. The stone is slimy, covered in something that feels like moss or worse, and you grimace, wiping your hand on your tunic. The papyrus mentions sea and eternity, and you're starting to think Cleopatra's tomb might literally be tied to the water around you. Historians have long speculated that her monument was near the coast, maybe even designed to be swallowed by the waves. Modern archaeologists, diving into the sunken ruins off Alexandria, have found columns and sphinxes, but no tomb. The sea's a thief, hoarding its prizes in a vault of sand and silt. You feel a surge of frustration, like when you're stuck on a puzzle game with no hints left. Except this puzzle's been stumping people for 2 millennia. The chamber widens, or at least it feels that way. The echoes of your footsteps grow fainter, swallowed by the vastness. You can't see the walls anymore, only the faint glint of water stretching into the dark. Your eyes strain, searching for any light, any sign of where that cloaked figure went. You're about to call out, despite the fear clawing at your chest, when you hear it again, that thumping, slow and deliberate, like something dragging itself closer. It's coming from your left, and it's louder now, accompanied by a faint scraping, like claws on stone. Your blood runs cold. You want to believe it's just the sea, some trick of the tides, but deep down, you know better. This place isn't empty. It's alive with secrets, and you're an intruder. You back away, your feet splashing louder than you'd like, and your hand fumbles for the vial in your tunic. Maybe it's oil, something to light your way, but your fingers are too shaky to pry it open. The bracelet slips, clattering to the ground, and the sound is like a thunderclap in the silence. You curse under your breath, dropping to your knees to grab it, the water soaking your tunic and chilling your skin. The thumping stops, and for a moment you think you're safe. Then you feel it, a ripple in the water, subtle but unmistakable, like something moved nearby. You snatch the bracelet and stand, your heart in your throat, ready to run. But which way? Back to the stone door, where Romans might be waiting, or deeper into this darkness, toward whatever's making that sound. Let's think about Cleopatra for a second. She wasn't just a queen. She was a master of control, a woman who turned every loss into a move on the chessboard. Even in her final days, with Antony dead and Octavian at her gates, she didn't panic. She planned. The story of her death, snake poison, whatever, feels like a performance, a way to steal the spotlight one last time. But what if the tomb was her real masterpiece? Not just a grave, but a fortress, designed to outlast her enemies. You imagine her in her final hours, calm and sharp, dictating orders to her most trusted servants. "Hide it," she might have said, "where no one will look." The papyrus in your hand, the bracelet, the vial, they're pieces of her plan, but you're starting to wonder if you're a pawn, not a player. You decide to keep going, because turning back feels like admitting defeat. The water's up to your shins now, and each step is a battle against the cold and the fear. The thumping hasn't returned, but you're not fooled. It's still out there waiting. You hold the bracelet up, its gold catching the faintest light from somewhere ahead. There's a glow, weak but real, flickering like a dying star. You move toward it, your teeth chattering, the papyrus crinkling against your chest. The glow grows, revealing a stone archway carved with snakes and lotus flowers, their details worn but still sharp. Your heart leaps. This isn't just a tunnel, it's a threshold, a gateway to something sacred, or something cursed. You step through the arch, and the air changes, warmer but no less heavy, thick with the scent of incense and salt. The glow comes from a single oil lamp, its flame dancing on a stone ledge. Beyond it, the chamber stretches into shadow, but you can make out shapes, columns, maybe statues, their outlines blurred by time and water. The floor slopes downward, and the water deepens, lapping at your thighs. You're shivering, but not just from a cold. This place feels alive, like it's watching, waiting for you to make a mistake. You've seen enough movies to know this is the part where the hero does something dumb, like touching a forbidden relic. But you're not a hero, and this isn't a movie. This is Alexandria, 30 BCE, and you're in way over your head. You wade forward, the lamp's light casting long shadows that twist like spirits. The papyrus mentioned eternity, and you're starting to feel it, the weight of centuries pressing down, the ghosts of a lost city whispering in the dark. You think about the archaeologists who've tried to find this place, their high-tech gear and endless funding no match for Cleopatra's cunning. Sites like Taposiris Magna, with its underground tunnels, have yielded clues, coins, inscriptions, but nothing definitive. The sea's eaten too much, and time's erased the rest. You feel a strange kinship with those diggers, all of you chasing a shadow, all of you fools for trying. Something brushes your leg, and you yelp, splashing backward. It's just a piece of debris, a chunk of stone, but your nerves are frayed, and every shadow looks like a threat. You clutch the vial tighter, tempted to smash it open. But what if it's poison, not oil? What if it's part of Cleopatra's trap, meant to stop intruders like you? You laugh, a shaky sound, because the idea's ridiculous, right? But then you remember the stories. Cleopatra's knowledge of poisons, her experiments with toxins to find the perfect death. The vial feels heavier, like it's daring you to test it. You shove it back into your tunic, deciding you'd rather stay in the dark than take that chance. The chamber narrows, the ceiling so low you have to duck. The water's up to your waist now, and the cold is bone deep, making your movement sluggish. You're about to turn back when you see it, a glint of gold, half buried in the silt ahead. You wade closer, your breath ragged, and kneel, digging with your hands. The water clouds with muck, but your fingers find something smooth, heavy. You pull it free, a small statue of Isis, her face serene, her arms outstretched. Your heart races. This isn't just a trinket, it's a sign, a marker. You're close, closer than anyone's been in centuries. But then you hear it again, that thumping, louder, closer. And this time, it's not stopping. You stand, clutching the statue, and spin around, the lamp's light swinging wildly. The water ripples, waves spreading from something moving in the dark. You back away, your feet slipping, and the thumping becomes a splash, like something breaking the surface. Your mind screams crocodile, snake, monster, but you don't wait to find out. You run, or try to, the water dragging at your legs, the statue heavy in your hand. The lamp flickers, threatening to die, and the shadows close in, hungry. You're not just running from whatever's out there. You're running from the truth, the one Cleopatra buried so deep it's become a curse. You stumble through the archway, the water shallower now, and collapse against the wall, gasping. The thumping fades, but you're not safe, not really. The statue's cold against your chest, the papyrus soggy, but intact. You found something, but at what cost? Cleopatra's tomb is more than a place. It's a labyrinth of choices, each one riskier than the last. You think of Octavian, of the Romans still searching above, of the sea waiting to claim it all. And you wonder, what if the tomb isn't meant to be found? What if Cleopatra designed it to trap not just her enemies, but anyone who dares to follow her? As the lamp sputters, plunging you into near darkness, do you keep searching, or do you flee, knowing the price of her secrets might be your own soul? Your back presses against the damp stone wall, the cold seeping through your soaked tunic like a warning. The oil lamp's flame is barely a whisper now, its light flickering across the chamber, casting shadows that twist and curl like they're alive. The water at your feet, shallow but icy, laps against your ankles, and the air is thick with the briny stench of the sea, mixed with something older, rotted wood, perhaps, or the faint, sour tang of death. Your chest heaves, each breath ragged from your desperate sprint away from that thumping, splashing thing in the dark. The gold statue of Isis, clutched tight in your hand, feels heavier than it should, its serene face mocking your panic. The papyrus, bracelet, and vial in your tunic are sodden, their weight dragging at you like a chain. You're deep beneath Alexandria, in a place no one was meant to find, and the thought of Cleopatra's tomb, so close, so impossible, burns in your mind. But you're not alone down here, and whatever's stalking you isn't human. You slide down the wall, crouching to steady your shaking legs. The lamp's light wavers, threatening to abandon you entirely, and you cup your hand around it, willing it to hold on. The chamber is small, its walls rough and unadorned, a stark contrast to the carved grandeur you saw earlier. The archway you stumbled through looms behind you, a black maw leading back to that flooded chamber where something moved. Your skin prickles, not just from the cold, but from the certainty that you're being watched. You try to tell yourself it's just nerves, too many late-night horror flicks, too much imagination, but the memory of that rhythmic thump, that ripple in the water, won't let you lie. Ever walk home alone and feel eyes on your back, even when no one's there? That's you now, except the eyes might be real, and they might not belong to anything living. You force yourself to stand, the statue's sharp edges digging into your palm. You need to keep moving, because staying still feels like surrendering. The papyrus mentions sea and eternity, and the statue of Isis, a goddess tied to Cleopatra's own myth, is no coincidence. You're close to something, her tomb, her treasure, her final secret. But every step deeper into this labyrinth feels like a step toward a trap. You think of Cleopatra, her sharp mind weaving plans even as her world collapsed. She wasn't just hiding from Octavian. She was hiding from history from you. The thought sends a chill through you, colder than the water, soaking your feet. What if she didn't just build a tomb? What if she built a cage for anyone foolish enough to seek it? You scan the chamber, the lamp's weak glow revealing a narrow passage branching off to your right. The air coming from it is fresher, carrying a hint of salt and something floral, like faded jasmine. It's faint, but it's enough to draw you forward, away from the archway and whatever lurks beyond. You step carefully, the water sloshing softly, and the passage tightens, forcing you to turn sideways to squeeze through. The walls are slick with algae, and your fingers slip as you brace yourself, the statue nearly falling. You catch it, heart pounding, and whisper a curse that echoes too loudly in the confined space. You're not religious, but you mutter a prayer to Isis anyway. Better safe than sorry when you're trespassing in her domain. The passage opens into a larger space, and you stop, your breath catching. The lamp's light spills across a floor of cracked mosaic tiles, their colors dulled but still vivid, blues, golds, and reds forming snakes, lotus flowers, and stars. The ceiling is higher here, supported by slender columns that vanish into the dark above. The water is gone, replaced by dry stone, and the air feels warmer, almost welcoming. But there's a catch. The floral scent is stronger, cloying, and it's mixed with something sharp, like vinegar or poison. You've heard stories of ancient traps, pits, darts, gases, and your imagination runs wild. Ever open an email thinking it's legit, only to realize it's a scam? That's the vibe here, except the scam might kill you. You step onto the mosaic, the tiles cool and smooth under your feet. The lamp reveals more of the chamber, a stone altar at the far end, flanked by two statues of Anubis, their jackal heads gleaming with inlaid obsidian eyes. On the altar, there's a bronze bowl, its surface tarnished but etched with hieroglyphs. You move closer, the statue of Isis heavy in your hand, and notice something else, a faint seam in the wall behind the altar, like a door disguised as stone. Your pulse quickens. This could be it, the entrance to Cleopatra's tomb. But the memory of that thumping sound, that ripple in the water, keeps you rooted. You're not alone, and you're not safe. You set the lamp on the altar, its light steadying for now, and examine the bowl. The hieroglyphs are worn, but you recognize symbols for queen and eternity. Your fingers trace the rim, and you feel a slight give, like it's meant to turn. You hesitate, because messing with ancient mechanisms is how people end up in cautionary tales. But the papyrus, the statue, the bracelet, they've led you here, and backing out now feels like betraying the journey. You twist the bowl, and a low grinding fills the chamber, stone scraping stone. The seam in the wall shifts, revealing a narrow gap, just wide enough to slip through. Darkness spills out, cold and heavy, carrying the unmistakable smell of the sea. You grab the lamp, your hand shaking, and peer into the gap. The passage beyond is pitch black, but you hear something, a faint, rhythmic drip, like the one in the earlier tunnels, but slower, deliberate. Your mind flashes to Cleopatra's final moments. Did she stand here, knowing this was her last move? Historians like Plutarch say she died in a monument, surrounded by her treasures, but they're vague about the details. Some scholars think she staged her death to escape, slipping away while Octavian gloated. You want to believe that she was too clever to just give up, but the dripping sound feels like a warning, like the tomb itself is counting down. You step through the gap, the stone scraping your shoulders, and the passage closes behind you with a thud that makes you jump. No going back now. The air is colder, the sea smell overwhelming, and the lamp's light barely reaches the walls. They're carved with scenes of Cleopatra as Isis, her arms raised, her eyes fierce even in stone. You feel a strange awe, like you're walking through her mind, her legacy etched into the rock. But there's something else, a faint vibration under your feet, like the earth is shifting. You think of Alexandria's fate, the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the city sinking into the sea. Archaeologists have found submerged ruins, but no tomb. Maybe it's here, under your feet, waiting to be claimed or to claim you. The passage slopes downward, and water returns, shallow at first, then deeper, reaching your knees. The dripping grows louder, and you realize it's not random, it's a pattern, like a code. You stop holding the lamp high and see a glint ahead, a metal grill embedded in the wall, water trickling through it. You wade closer, the cold numbing your legs, and peer through the bars. Beyond is a vast chamber, its walls shimmering with gold and turquoise, half submerged in water that reflects the lamp's light like a fractured mirror. Your breath catches. This is it, Cleopatra's tomb or something close. But the grill is solid, unyielding, and you're not getting through without tools or time, neither of which you have. You press your face to the bars, the metal cold against your skin, and something moves in the water below. A shadow, long and sinuous, glides through the reflected light, then vanishes. Your heart stops. Crocodile? Snake? Or something worse, something tied to the myths of Isis and Osiris? Guardians of the dead? You back away, the lamp trembling in your hand, and trip, splashing into the water. The statue slips, sinking with a dull thud, and you scramble to retrieve it, your hands clawing at the silt. You find it, but the movement stirs something else, a low, guttural sound, like a growl, echoing from the chamber beyond the grill. You're on your feet in an instant, water streaming from your tunic, the lamp's light flickering dangerously. The growl fades, but the dripping continues, steady, mocking. You think of Cleopatra's cunning, her knowledge of poisons and traps. Did she design this place to protect her tomb, or to punish those who sought it? The papyrus, now a soggy mess, mentioned eternity. But whose eternity? Hers or yours, trapped here forever? You want to laugh, to shake off the fear, but it's too real, too close. Ever feel like you're in over your head, like when you take on a project you're not ready for? That's you, except the project is a queen's revenge, and the deadline is now. You turn to leave, but the passage behind you is different, narrower, darker, like the walls have shifted. Panic claws at your chest. You're lost, or worse, the tomb is changing, guiding you where it wants. The lamp sputters, the flame shrinking to a pinprick, and the growl returns, closer this time, accompanied by a splash. You run, the water dragging at your legs, the statue and vial heavy in your hands. The papyrus slips, floating away, and you let it go, because survival matters more than clues. You're not chasing Cleopatra's tomb anymore. You're running from it, from her, from the truth she buried so deep it's become a nightmare. And as the darkness swallows the last of the light, you wonder, did she hide her tomb to protect her legacy, or to curse anyone who dared to find it? Do you keep running, or do you face the shadow that's hunting you, knowing it might be her final trap? You're still here with me, aren't you? I'm thrilled about that. And if something in this story has grabbed your attention, or if there's a question dancing in your head right now, drop it in the comments. I'm dying to hear what you're thinking. Now, let's not keep you waiting any longer. Take a deep breath, get comfy, and let's dive into the next chapter of this journey. Things are about to get even wilder. The darkness is absolute now, a suffocating void that presses against your eyes, your skin, your mind. The lamp's flame is gone, snuffed out by your panicked run through the water. And the only light is the faint, ghostly afterimage burned into your vision. Your legs burn, thighs screaming from fighting the knee-deep water, and your lungs ache with every ragged breath. The air is heavy, thick with a briny reek of the sea, and something sharper, like rusted iron or dried blood. The gold statue of Isis is clutched tight in one hand, its edges cutting into your palm, while the vial in your tunic thumps against your chest, a reminder of the risks you've taken. The papyrus is gone, lost to the water, and with it, your last shred of proof that you're not just chasing a delusion. That growl, low, guttural, alive, echoes in your memory, closer than you'd like, and you know whatever's hunting you isn't far behind. You're deep beneath Alexandria, in the heart of Cleopatra's labyrinth, and the tomb you've been chasing feels less like a prize and more like a noose tightening around your neck. You stumble forward, one hand outstretched, groping for the wall. Your fingers find stone, slick with algae and salt, and you lean against it, gasping, trying to steady your shaking body. The water sloshes around your legs, colder than before, and each ripple feels like a warning, like the thing in the dark is still moving, still watching. Your bare feet slip on the uneven floor, and you wince as something sharp, a broken tile, maybe, slices your heel. The pain is a jolt, grounding you, but it also makes you realize how vulnerable you are. No light, no map, no way out. Ever have that moment when you're lost in a new city, your phone's dead, and every street looks the same? That's you now, except the city is a tomb, and the locals aren't friendly. You force yourself to move, dragging your hand along the wall for guidance. The stone is rougher here, less polished, like this passage was carved in a hurry, a desperate bid to hide something or someone. The growl hasn't returned, but the silence is worse, heavy with the weight of unseen eyes. You think of Cleopatra, her sharp mind, her unyielding will. She didn't just build a tomb, she built a puzzle, a trap for anyone who dared to follow her. The statue in your hand, the vial in your tunic, they're pieces of that puzzle, but you're starting to wonder if they're bait, not clues. What if she didn't want her tomb found? What if she wanted it to be a grave for her enemies, her betrayers, and fools like you who thought they could outsmart a queen? The passage curves and the air shifts, carrying a faint warmth and a new smell, something sweet, like overripe fruit, mixed with a metallic tang of decay. Your stomach churns, but you keep going. because standing still feels like inviting whatever's out there to find you. The water shallows, barely covering your ankles now, and the floor slopes upward, a small mercy for your aching legs. You're climbing, moving away from the sea, and the thought gives you a flicker of hope. Maybe you're nearing an exit, a way back to the palace, to safety. But then you hear it, a soft, rhythmic scraping, like something heavy being dragged across stone. It's not the growl, not the thump, but it's no less terrifying. Your heart leaps, and you freeze, pressing yourself against the wall, the statue cold against your chest. You strain your ears, trying to pinpoint the sound. It's coming from ahead, not behind, and it's steady, deliberate, like someone or something is working, moving, preparing. Your mind races with possibilities. A Roman soldier clearing a blocked passage, a servant hiding Cleopatra's treasures, or worse, something tied to the myths of this place, a guardian left to protect the tomb. You think of the stories of Anubis, the jackal-headed god, and the curses said to guard sacred places. You want to laugh it off. Curses aren't real, right? But the darkness makes every fear feel possible. Ever wake up from a nightmare and check under the bed, just in case? That's you now, except the monster might be real, and there's no bed to hide under. You creep forward, slower now, each step measured to avoid splashing. The scraping grows louder, and you catch a faint glow ahead, so weak it's barely a suggestion of light. Your heart lifts. Light means hope, means people, means a way out. But then you remember the grill, the golden chamber, the shadow in the water. Light doesn't always mean safety. You tighten your grip on the statue, its weight reassuring, and move toward the glow, the vial thumping softly against your ribs. The passage widens and the air grows warmer. The sweet decay smells stronger, almost choking. You cover your nose with your sleeve, but it doesn't help. The scraping stops, and the silence is deafening, like the world's holding its breath. You reach the source of the glow, a narrow alcove carved into the wall, where a single oil lamp burns, its flame stronger than your lost one, but still fragile. The alcove is small, barely big enough for you to stand in, and the walls are covered in carvings. Cleopatra as Isis, her arms outstretched, her eyes fierce, surrounded by snakes and stars. Below the lamp, there's a stone shelf, and on it, a pile of objects, gold coins, a jade scarab, a broken alabaster jar, its contents long spilled. Your breath catches. This isn't just a stash, it's a shrine, a marker, a step closer to the tomb. But the scraping sound came from nearby, and you're not alone. You step back, scanning the darkness beyond the alcove. The glow doesn't reach far, but you see movement, a shadow shifting, low to the ground, followed by a faint clatter, like stones falling. Your pulse races. You want to call out, to demand who's there, but your voice is trapped, stuck behind the fear in your throat. You think of the cloaked figure from earlier, the one who slipped through the hidden door. Could it be them, still working in the dark, guarding Cleopatra's secrets? Or is it something else, something tied to the growl, the shadow, the curse you're trying not to believe in? You clutch the statue tighter, its edges drawing blood now, and take a step toward the shadow, because running hasn't gotten you anywhere. The clatter comes again, closer, and you see it, a shape, hunched and slow, dragging something across the floor. It's human, or at least it looks human, cloaked in tattered fabric, their movements jerky, like they're injured or exhausted. You squint, the lamp's light barely reaching them, and realize they're pulling a sack, heavy with whatever's inside. Coins? Relics? Or something worse. You take another step, and the figure freezes, their head snapping toward you. You can't see their face, but you feel their gaze, sharp and cold, like a blade pressed to your throat. Your mouth goes dry, and you raise the statue, a pathetic weapon, ready to swing if they move. "Who are you?" you whisper, your voice cracking. The figure doesn't answer, but they drop the sack, and it hits the floor with a dull thud, spilling gold. Rings, amulets, a dagger with a jeweled hilt. Your eyes widen. This is Cleopatra's treasure or part of it, and this person is either stealing it or hiding it. You think of her servants, the ones who stayed loyal even as Alexandria fell. Did she task them with guarding her tomb, even in death? Or is this a looter, a Roman, a traitor? The figure takes a step toward you, and you back away, tripping over a loose tile. The lamp flickers, and for a moment, you see their eyes, hollow, desperate, not entirely human. You scramble to your feet, the statue slipping from your hand and clattering to the floor. The figure lunges, faster than you expected, and you dodge, splashing through the shallow water. You grab the lamp, its heat searing your hand, and run, the alcove's light fading behind you. The passage twists, narrowing, and you hear the figure's footsteps, uneven but relentless, chasing you. Your heart pounds, your lungs burn, and the vial in your tunic feels like a bomb about to go off. You think of Cleopatra's poisons, her traps, her genius. Did she plan this too? A tomb that fights back, that hunts those who seek it? The passage opens into a wider chamber, and you stumble, catching yourself on a column. The lamp's light reveals more carvings. Cleopatra, always Cleopatra, her face eternal, her smile knowing. The footsteps stop, but you don't look back. You're done running, but you're not done fighting. You set the lamp down, its light steady for now, and face the darkness. The statue lost, but the vial still with you. You pull it out, its wax seal cracked but intact, and wonder if it's your last chance or your last mistake. The air grows colder, the sea smells stronger, and you hear a new sound, a low, mournful wail, like the tomb itself is crying. Cleopatra's legacy is here in the stone, the gold, the shadows. But is it a gift, a curse, or a warning? And as the wail grows louder, do you open the vial and face what's inside, or do you stand your ground, knowing the tomb's true guardian is coming for you? The wail echoes through the chamber, a low, keening sound that burrows into your bones, making your teeth ache. It's not human, not entirely, but it carries a weight of sorrow and rage that feels alive, as if the tomb itself is mourning its own secrets. You stand frozen, the cracked vial trembling in your hand, its wax seal flaking under your thumb. The oil lamp on the column flickers, casting jagged shadows across the carvings of Cleopatra as Isis, her stone eyes glinting like they're watching you, judging you. The air is thick with a briny reek of the sea, laced with that sickly sweet decay that clings to your throat. Your tunic is soaked, clinging to your skin, and the shallow water at your feet ripples, stirred by something unseen. The footsteps of a cloaked figure, or whatever it was, have stopped, but you're not foolish enough to think you're safe. You're deep beneath Alexandria, in the heart of a labyrinth that's as much a predator as a place, and Cleopatra's tomb feels closer than ever, yet impossibly out of reach. You tighten your grip on the vial, its cold surface grounding you against the panic clawing at your chest. The wail fades, leaving a silence so heavy it presses against your ears, broken only by the faint drip of water somewhere in the dark. You're alone, or at least you think you are, but the memory of those hollow eyes, human, yet not, burns in your mind. Was that figure a servant, bound to Cleopatra's will even in death? A looter, driven mad by greed? Or something worse, a guardian conjured by the queen's cunning to protect her final resting place? Your hand hovers over the vial seal, tempted to break it open. Poison, oil, or something else. It could be your salvation or your end. Ever hesitate before hitting send on a risky text, knowing it could blow up your life? That's you now, except the stakes are higher, and there's no unsend button in this tomb. You step away from the column, the lamp's light barely reaching the chamber's edges. The carvings of Cleopatra surround you, her face repeated in endless variations, serene, fierce, triumphant. Each one feels like a taunt, a reminder of her power, her ability to bend the world to her will. You think of her final days, outmaneuvering Octavian even as he closed in. Historians like Plutarch and Dio paint her death as a spectacle. Snake, poison, a grand exit. But what if it was more? What if she didn't just die, but disappeared, leaving this tomb as a decoy, a trap for her enemies? The idea sends a shiver through you, colder than the water lapping at your ankles. If she planned this place, every carving, every shadow, then you're not just an intruder. You're a pawn in a game she's still playing. You move forward, the lamp in one hand, the vial in the other, your bare feet slipping on the slick stone. The chamber narrows, forcing you to duck under a low archway carved with snakes. Their scales etched so finely, they seem to writhe in the flickering light. The air grows warmer, the sweet decay smells stronger, and you gag, covering your mouth with your sleeve. The passage slopes upward, the water receding, and you feel a flicker of relief. Maybe you're climbing toward an exit, away from the sea's grasp. But then you see it, a faint glow ahead, not the warm yellow of a lamp, but a cold, bluish shimmer, like moonlight trapped underground. Your heart leaps, but fear tempers it. Light means something, but in this place, it's as likely to be a lure as a lifeline. You creep toward the glow, the vial's weight reassuring in your hand. The passage opens into a vast chamber, and you stop, your breath catching. The walls are lined with gold, not solid, but inlaid in intricate patterns, stars, lotuses, and eyes of Horus, gleaming in the strange blue light. The source is a pool in the center, its surface unnaturally still, reflecting a ceiling painted with constellations. The water glows not from any visible source, but as if the light is coming from within, a soft, pulsing radiance that makes your skin crawl. You've heard of ancient tricks, phosphorescent minerals, oils that burn without flame, but this feels different, otherworldly. The air is heavy with the scent of jasmine and salt, and you realize the sweet decay smell is gone, replaced by something almost sacred. You step closer, the lamp's light dimming, as if intimidated by the pool's glow. The floor is mosaic, depicting Cleopatra's life, her coronation, her triumphs, her children. You see her with Caesar, with Antony, her arms raised as a goddess. The detail is staggering, each tile a testament to her ego, her need to be remembered. You think of modern archaeologists, their sonar scans, and diving teams scouring Alexandria's sunken ruins. They found mosaics like this, fragments of her world, but never the tomb. The seas claimed too much, and time's eroded the rest. Standing here, you feel a strange pride, like you've outdone them all, but it's tempered by dread. This place isn't meant for you, and you're starting to think it knows it. You kneel by the pool, the vial slipping in your sweaty hand. The water is clear, impossibly so, and you see shapes beneath the surface, statues, chests, maybe even bones, half buried in silt. Your reflection stares back, distorted by the glow, and for a moment you see her, Cleopatra, her dark eyes locked on yours, her smile sharp as a blade. You blink, and it's just you, but your heart's racing, and you're not sure what's real anymore. You think of the stories, her knowledge of alchemy, her experiments with poisons and potions. Did she create this pool, this light, as part of her tomb's defense? A trap to mesmerize, to drown, to drive mad? You want to reach in, to touch the shapes below, but every instinct screams to stay back. A sound breaks your trance, a soft splash, not from the pool, but from the passage behind you. You spin, the lamp swinging, and see ripples spreading across the floor, where water has crept back in. Your pulse spikes. The figure, the growl, the shadow, they're still out there, and they found you. You stand, backing away from the pool, the vial raised like a weapon. The splash comes again, closer, and you hear a low hum, like a chant, barely audible but growing stronger. It's not Latin, not Greek, not Egyptian. It's something older, something that makes your skin prickle and your head throb. You think of the myths of Isis, of Osiris, of gods who guard the dead. Did Cleopatra invoke them, binding her tomb to forces beyond the mortal world? You move toward the passage, the lamp's light faltering, the blue glow from the pool casting eerie patterns on the walls. The hum grows, words forming but incomprehensible, and you feel a pull, like the tomb is trying to keep you here. You think of Octavian, his cold ambition, his need to erase Cleopatra's legacy. Did he know about this place? Did he seal it, not to protect it, but to contain it? The vial in your hand feels alive, its contents shifting, and you wonder if it's the key to the tomb or the trigger for its final defense. You're tempted to smash it, to see what happens, but the memory of the growl, the shadow, stops you. You're not ready to die, not yet. The passage ahead is darker, the water deeper, and the hum follows you, weaving through the air like a spell. You stumble, catching yourself on a carving of Cleopatra, her stone hand cold under yours. The lamp sputters, and you realize it's nearly out of oil. You're running out of time, out of light, out of chances. The splash comes again, closer, and you see it, a shape in the water, long and sinuous, moving with purpose. Your blood freezes. You think of the snakes carved everywhere, of the ASP that supposedly killed her. Was that story a lie, a cover for something worse? Did she leave a guardian, not just a trap, but a living curse? You run, the water dragging at your legs, the vial slipping in your hand. The hum is louder, the words clearer, and you catch a phrase, her name, Cleopatra, repeated like a prayer. The chamber behind you feels alive, the pool's glow pulsing in time with your heartbeat. You're not just in a tomb, you're in her world, her mind, her final act of defiance. You think of the archaeologists, their fruitless digs, their theories about Taposiris Magna and sunken palaces. They were looking for a place, but this is more, a labyrinth, a spell, a story that refuses to end. You're part of it now, whether you want to be or not. The passage twists, the walls closing in, and you trip, falling into the water. The lamp hisses, dying completely, and the blue glow from the pool is gone, leaving you in darkness. The vial slips, and you catch it barely, your hand shaking. The hum is everywhere, the splash closer, and you feel a breath on your neck, cold, deliberate, not human. You scramble to your feet, clutching the vial, and run blind, the stone walls scraping your arms. Cleopatra's tomb isn't just a place, it's a force, a will, and it's decided you're not leaving. Did she hide her secrets to protect them, or to punish those who sought them? And as the darkness closes in, the hum deafening, do you break the vial and face her final truth, or do you keep running, knowing the tomb's curse is already inside you? The darkness is a living thing, wrapping around you like a shroud, its weight crushing your chest with every shallow breath. Your bare feet slap against the slick stone, water splashing up to your thighs as you run blind through the twisting passage beneath Alexandria. The vial in your hand is slick with sweat, its cracked wax seal threatening to give way, and you clutch it like a lifeline, though you're not sure if it's salvation or damnation. The air is thick with a briny stench of the sea, now laced with a bitter, acrid tang, like burnt herbs or ancient poison. That cold breath on your neck, not human, lingers in your memory, driving you forward even as your legs scream and your lungs burn. The hum, that eerie chant weaving Cleopatra's name, pulses in your ears, no longer a sound but a force, tugging at your mind, urging you to stop, to surrender. But you can't, won't, because the tomb, her tomb, is closer than ever, and you're too deep in her game to turn back now. your shoulder grazes the wall, the stone scraping your skin raw, and you stumble, catching yourself before you fall. The water's deeper here, slowing you down, and every splash feels like a beacon for whatever's chasing you. That sinuous shadow, that guttural growl, that presence that's more than flesh. You don't dare look back, but you feel it, a pressure in the air, a hunger that's not just physical. Your mind races, piecing together fragments. The papyrus, now lost, with its cryptic words of sea and eternity. The statue of Isis, left behind in your panic. The glowing pool, its treasures half seen. Cleopatra didn't just hide her tomb. She wove it into the fabric of this place, a labyrinth of stone and water, guarded by something you're too afraid to name. Ever click a link you know you shouldn't, only to realize it's too late to close the tab? That's you, except the virus is ancient, and it's got your scent. The passage narrows, forcing you to turn sideways, the vial pressed against your chest to keep it safe. The walls are closer, their carving sharper, snakes, eyes, lotus flowers, cutting into your arms as you squeeze through. The hum grows louder, the chant now a chorus, her name repeated in a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You want to scream, to drown it out, but your voice is gone, stolen by fear or something worse. The water shallows and the floor slopes upward, the air warming slightly, carrying a faint whiff of incense. New hung, maybe, like the kind you smelled in the palace above. It's a cruel reminder of the world you left behind, a world where Romans hunt and Alexandria burns, a world you might never see again. You burst into a wider space, the walls falling away, and stop, gasping, your chest heaving. The darkness isn't total here. A faint, silvery light seeps from above, filtering through cracks in a ceiling you can't see. It's not enough to illuminate, but it's enough to show shapes, columns, broken statues, and a raised platform in the center, draped in shadows. The water is gone, the floor dry but uneven, littered with debris, shattered pottery, glints of gold, a sandal half buried in dust. The hum is softer now, almost a whisper, but it's still there, curling around you like smoke. You take a step, then another, the vial trembling in your hand, and realize this chamber feels different, sacred, final, like you've crossed a threshold you can't uncross. You move toward the platform, your feet crunching on the debris, each sound too loud in the stillness. The silvery light catches on something, a bronze disc etched with hieroglyphs, lying among the rubble. You kneel, your knees aching, and pick it up, its weight surprising. The symbols are familiar: Queen, Eternity, Isis. Your heart races. This isn't just a trinket, it's a key, a marker, a piece of Cleopatra's puzzle. You think of her not as a queen, but as a woman, planning her end with the precision of a general. Historians say she died in her monument, surrounded by her wealth. But what if this is it? What if this platform, this chamber, is her tomb or the gate to it? You stand, the disc heavy in your hand, and approach the platform, the vial's seal crumbling under your thumb. The platform is stone, its surface worn, but carved with scenes of Cleopatra's life, her triumphs, her children, her gods. At its center, there's a shallow basin, empty but stained with something dark, like dried blood or wine. You lean closer, the lamp's absence making you rely on the faint light from above, and see faint scratches in the basin, Greek letters, barely legible, to the sea. Your breath catches. The papyrus mentioned the sea, and now this is the tomb underwater, hidden where only the gods can find it. Modern archaeologists, diving into Alexandria's sunken harbors, have found palaces but no tomb, their sonar defeated by centuries of silt. You feel a pang of awe mixed with frustration, like when you're one piece short of a puzzle you've spent hours on. A sound, a low, grinding rasp, snaps you out of your thoughts. It's coming from the platform, from beneath it, like stone shifting. You back away, the disc slipping in your sweaty hand. The vial's seal now fully broken, its contents leaking onto your fingers. It's not oil, not poison, but something thick, like honey, with a faint floral scent. Your head spins, and you realize the hum is back, louder. The chant now a command. Her name a drumbeat in your skull. The platform trembles, dust falling from its edges. And you see it, a seam, a hidden door, grinding open to reveal a staircase descending into darkness. Your heart leaps, but fear chokes it. This is it, the path to the tomb. But every instinct screams trap. You step back, the vial dripping, the disc heavy, and hear another sound. A splash, faint but deliberate, from the passage you came through. The shadow, the growl, the thing that's been hunting you. It's here. You spin, the silvery light catching a ripple in the water, a shape moving just beyond your sight. Your blood freezes. You think of the snakes carved everywhere, of the ASP that supposedly killed her, of the myths of Isis and her guardians. Did Cleopatra summon something to protect her tomb? Something that's still here, still hungry? You want to run, but the staircase is open, the tomb calling, and the vial's contents are warm against your skin, like they're alive. You take a step toward the staircase, the hum deafening, the chant now a scream in your mind. The platform's door is fully open, revealing steps that spiral down into a void blacker than the dark around you. The air from below is cold, carrying the smell of salt and something metallic, like blood. You think of Octavian, his cold ambition, his need to erase her. Did he find this place, seal it to contain her power? Or did she seal it herself, knowing no one could be trusted? The disc in your hand feels like a key, but to what? A door, a trap, a curse? You're tempted to drop it, to fling the vial away, but they're all you have, your only proof you've come this far. The splash comes again closer, and you see it, a long, sinuous shape breaking the water, its eyes glinting like coins. You scream, the sound raw and desperate, and stumble toward the staircase, the vial slipping from your hand. It hits the platform, shattering, and the honey-like liquid spreads, glowing faintly, like the pool you saw before. The hum spikes, the chant a roar, and the shape in the water moves faster, its growl shaking the air. You clutch the disc, your only weapon, and run down the stairs, the stone icy under your feet. The darkness swallows you, the light from above gone, and the growl follows, relentless, like the tomb itself is chasing you. The stairs spiral tighter, the walls closing in, their carvings brushing your arms. Cleopatra, always Cleopatra, her face eternal, her smile cruel. You're not just in a tomb, you're in her mind, her will, her final act of defiance. You think of the archaeologists, their endless digs, their theories about Taposiris Magna and sunken ruins. They were looking for a place, but this is more, a force, a spell, a queen who refuses to be found. The disc cuts into your hand, drawing blood, and you realize it's warm, like it's drinking you in. The growl is closer, the air colder, and you feel her, Cleopatra, not as a ghost, but as a presence, guiding you, testing you. You stumble, the stairs ending abruptly, and fall to your knees in shallow water. The darkness is total, but you feel space around you, a vast chamber, its walls humming with the chant. The disc pulses, its warmth spreading up your arm, and you realize it's not just a key, it's a beacon calling something or someone. The growl is here in the chamber with you, and you stand, trembling, the water rippling around you. You're at the heart of the tomb, or what's left of it, and Cleopatra's legacy is alive, angry, eternal. Did she hide her secrets to protect them, or to destroy those who sought them? And as the growl becomes a roar, the disc burning in your hand, do you hold on and face her final truth, or do you let go, knowing the tomb's curse has already claimed you? The darkness beneath Alexandria has swallowed you whole, a void so complete it feels like you've ceased to exist. Your knees sink into the shallow water, the cold biting into your bones, and the bronze disc in your hand pulses with an unnatural warmth. Its etched hieroglyphs searing your palm like a brand. The growl, low, primal, relentless, fills the vast chamber, vibrating through the stone and water, a sound that's less animal and more force, as if the tomb itself is alive and angry. The air is heavy with salt and that bitter, acrid tang, like poison left to fester for centuries. Your heart hammers, each beat a plea to run, but there's nowhere left to go. You're at the heart of Cleopatra's labyrinth, surrounded by her will, her secrets, her curse. The chant of her name, that deafening chorus, has faded to a whisper, but it's still there, coiling around your mind, urging you to surrender. The disc, your last tether to the world above, feels like it's pulling you deeper, not toward escape, but toward her. You think back to how this began, waking in Alexandria's scorching dawn, the city alive with whispers of Cleopatra's end. You walked its stone streets, barefoot and desperate, drawn to the palace where rumors of her tomb swirled like dust. You crept through its corridors, dodged Roman soldiers, and followed a cloaked figure into the earth's belly, chasing fragments of her legacy, a papyrus, a statue, a vial, each one a piece of her puzzle. You faced shadows and growls, glowing pools and hidden doors, each step pulling you closer to the truth and to danger. The tomb wasn't just a place, it was a trap, a spell, a game designed by a queen who never lost. Now, standing in this final chamber, you realize you're not just seeking Cleopatra's tomb, you're part of it, a player in her eternal defiance. You force yourself to stand, the water sloshing around your calves, the disc's warmth spreading up your arm like a fever. The growl shifts, closer now, circling, and you squint into the darkness, searching for the source. The faint, silvery light from cracks above, your last glimpse of the world, catches on something ahead. A stone dais, raised and solitary, its surface gleaming with gold and turquoise. Your breath catches. This is it, the heart of the tomb, or what's left of it. You stumble forward, the disc pulsing in time with your steps, and climb onto the dais, the stone cold but smooth, carved with snakes and stars. At its center, there's a shallow recess shaped like the disc in your hand, and you know without question that it belongs there. Your fingers tremble as you place the disc into the recess, its edges fitting perfectly, like it was always meant to be. A low grinding fills the chamber, stone scraping stone, and the dais trembles, dust falling from above. The growl spikes, a roar now, shaking the air, and you spin, expecting to see the shadow, the guardian, lunging from the dark. But there's nothing, just water, rippling violently, and the chant louder, her name a command. The dais shifts, a hidden panel sliding open to reveal a small golden chest, its surface etched with Cleopatra's face, her eyes fierce, her smile triumphant. Your heart leaps, but fear chokes it. This is her tomb, or her treasure, or her trap, and you're about to find out which. You kneel, your hands shaking as you touch the chest. It's warm, like the disc, and lighter than you expect, as if it's hollow or alive. You lift the lid, and a faint glow spills out, not the blue of the pool, but a soft, amber light, like a captured sunset. Inside there's no gold, no jewels, just a single object, a rolled papyrus, sealed with a snake-shaped clasp. Your breath hitches. This isn't treasure, it's truth, her truth, the secret she hid from Octavian, from Rome, from the world. You reach for it, your fingers brushing the clasp, and the growl stops, the silence so sudden it's deafening. The chant fades, the air stills, and for a moment, you think you've won. But then you feel it, a presence, not behind you, but within you, like a shadow slipping into your thoughts. Cleopatra's face flashes in your mind, her eyes sharp, her voice low and smooth. You found me. Your hand freezes, the papyrus untouched, and you realize the tomb isn't a place. It's her will, her defiance, preserved in stone and water and shadow. The chest glows brighter, the light pulsing, and you see now what you missed. The carvings on the dais aren't just snakes, they're asps coiled, ready to strike. The growl returns, not from the water, but from the chest, low and steady, like a heartbeat. You jerk back, the papyrus falling to the dais, and the light flares, blinding you. You stumble off the dais, splashing into the water, your vision swimming with afterimages. The growl is everywhere, the chant roaring back. Her name, a tidal wave in your skull. You think of the stories, her death by ASP, her poisons, her genius. Was it all a lie, a performance to hide this? Did she seal her truth here, guarded by something beyond death, to punish those who sought it? You think of Octavian, his cold ambition, his need to erase her. He didn't find this place, couldn't, because she made it impossible. A tomb that fights back, that chooses who lives and who joins her in eternity. You run, or try to, the water dragging at your legs, the light from the chest chasing you, illuminating the chamber in stark relief. The walls are alive with carvings, Cleopatra, Isis, Anubis, their eyes following you, their smiles cruel. The water deepens, and you see shapes beneath the surface, statues, chests, bones, reaching for you. The growl is a roar, the shadow breaking the water, long and sinuous, its eyes burning like embers. You scream, the sound lost in the chant, and trip, falling face first into the water. The 786 the shadow surges, and you thrash, kicking, clawing. But it's too late. The light from the chest pulses, the chant deafening, and you feel her, Cleopatra, not as a ghost, but as a force, pulling you under. You wake with a gasp, your body soaked, your hands empty. You're on a beach, the sea lapping at your feet, the dawn breaking over Alexandria's ruins. The city is gone, swallowed by time, but the air hums with her presence, faint but undeniable. You're alive, but the disc, the vial, the papyrus, they're gone, lost to the waves or to her. You touch your palm, expecting scars, but it's smooth, like it never happened. Was it a dream, a vision, a curse? You don't know, but you feel her, watching, waiting. Her tomb still hidden, her truth still hers. You stand, the sand warm under your feet, and look out at the sea, its surface calm, hiding its secrets. The archaeologists will keep digging, the divers will keep searching, but you know now, Cleopatra's tomb isn't meant to be found. She made sure of it, not to protect her body, but to protect her power, her defiance, her eternity. You walk away, the city's ruins fading behind you, but her whisper lingers, sharp as a blade. You'll never know. And as the sun rises, you wonder, not if you'll find her, but if you'll ever escape her. Thank you truly for joining me through every twist, every turn, every quiet moment, and every wild ride. It's been an adventure, and I'm grateful to have shared it with you. As we close this tale, I wish you a peaceful evening. May you have a restful night, deep sleep, and dreams filled with wonder and light. Rest well, you've earned it. And when you're ready for the next story, I'll be here, waiting to journey with you again. Before you go, if you love this tale, don't hesitate to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'm eager to hear what moved you, surprised you, or lingers long after the story ends. Until we meet again, good night, and see you in the next adventure.